Hello everyone. Am I audible? Yeah. Thank you for turning out in such a large number this early in the morning. For us from Bangalore, where we typically used to do these summits, it's heartwarming to see the turnout at this time of the day. But we've been doing these growth flagship summits every year in Bangalore. This is our first time in Mumbai doing an event at such a large scale. We felt the timing couldn't have been better in terms of bringing this to Mumbai. This is where we feel the next set of innovations are happening, and we're proud to talk about some of the product launches that we've done over the last 12 to 18 months, which could potentially add value to a lot of your customer engagement efforts. Today, MoEngage is just about turning 10 years old. We've started our journey in India, but we've taken a product which is built in India to the world. And I'm proud to say that today we work with a lot of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 brands globally. And you can see some of the logos up there: retail, financial services, telecom entertainment, media entertainment. These have been our big verticals globally. And you can see some of the top brands out there who've been partnered with us over the years to help drive all things customer engagement. We are about 700 people strong now and continuously growing. But let me quickly move to the problem statement that we started to address, right? So when I think about a lot of CRM folks, growth marketers, product managers in the room, typical problem statements that we see is the abundance of tools, right? Like when you think about MarTech, there's like a tool for everything, right? There's a tool to send email campaigns, push, analytics, warehouses. And when I think about the user, right, you have so many different tools, your data is essentially getting siloed. Data is residing in multiple of these tools, which basically makes it really difficult to make any sort of meaningful insight out of it, right? Which also leads to a disconnected experience when you think about it from a customer standpoint. There's one tool which is sending like a push notification or an email. There's another tool sending an SMS and a WhatsApp. And there's probably like an analytics tool where you're doing your insights, right? And more often than not, when we speak to a lot of marketers, what we realize is that a lot of these experiences are broken, right? And if I think about what does this lead to from an end customer standpoint, right? Essentially, it's a bad customer experience. This is where you see a lot. I mean, I saw some questions this morning as well. This so-called spam of messages, because customers feel like, hey, why are you talking to me on so many different channels, and why is the messaging not consistent, right? Which essentially leads to lower retention rates because customers just get frustrated and uninstall or move on from the existing experience, right? That's the problem that we fundamentally set out to solve for. And today, over the course of last 10 years, we've built a product which addresses all of these different problem statements, right? So we start off with how can you, one, build a single view of customer, which is kind of the holy grail for a lot of us in the room as well, where we're always thinking about how do I build that unified customer view? Or like Vaidya sir mentioned, how do you build that CDNA, right? Like which is essentially everything about the customer. How can I have that one view of the customer, right? We help you build that, and then at the top, what you see is the engagement platform, which is, I'm sure, a lot of you are familiar with, and something that obviously exists out there in the market. But I think what we uniquely add to this Engage platform is the three other products which complete the circle, right? The first one is we tell you how to draw meaningful insights and how to understand your customers better so you can essentially do better customer engagement campaigns, right? And the more important part, we want to combine the experiences of an analytics platform and an engagement platform. And that's where, with the click of a button, any insight that you see on MoEngage platform, today you're able to activate that between Analyze and Engage, right? Engage lets you optimize your experiences across multitude of outbound channels and inbound channels as well. And as we continue to build these experiences, one of the things we realized was the customers are still having a lot of crosswalk, right? They're using your website, they're using your mobile app, and we wanted to provide one consistent experience when, let's say, someone clicks on an email campaign and comes back to your website. You don't want to show them a completely different experience, right? That's why we launched the personalized product, which helps you completely customize and personalize everything a user sees on the website based on their previous interaction history and based on what they're doing in the current session as well. And last but not the least, what we realized is a lot of us marketers always focus a lot on the marketing or the promotional communication side of it. But I know there's a lot of banking and financial services people as well in the room. One of the less focused channels has always been the transactional communications. And that's where we felt there's a big opportunity to automate the entire transactional comms. We'll talk more about it in the next session and unify that with the entire promotional messaging that we do, right? So we're the only platform which helps you unify both transactional and promotional communications on one single platform, which essentially leads to a better customer experience at the end of the day, right? As we build this product, there's some fundamental ethos which we live by as a company. The first thing for me there is the community-led approach. Today, all of you who's joined us as part of Growth Summit, we also have a broader umbrella of #growth. We want to build a community because ultimately we are in the people's business. We want to empower everyone who's a growth marketer, irrespective of the tool that they're using. We want to build a community, make sure the experiences are spread across the peers, make sure there are certification programs, and make sure the overall community grows. And we want to grow with the community, right? That's been a fundamental pillar, and that's why we do a lot of these summits and meetups to make sure you learn from each other. The second philosophy is always been, how can we be customer first? And I think you'll hear that a few times today, but we truly believed in how can we do everything from a customer first standpoint. And that goes into the product development, that goes into the customer success teams that we built over the period of time, and that goes into everything that we do as a company. And last but not the least, we're constantly pushing the boundaries when it comes to innovation. So you'll see a lot of products today which are absolutely industry first, not just in India, but we're pushing the boundaries when it comes to the global customer engagement space itself. A lot of things that you see today, we are the first ones to bring it to the world. And that's been a core philosophy for us. And without further ado, I'm going to talk about some of the latest product launches that we've done, which will enhance your experience at scale. So our mission has been to see how can we help you deliver delightful experiences at scale by activating the data, right? So everything we talk about is always about data, engagement in conjunction, right? Let me break this up into two parts. Let's first talk about how can we deliver delightful experiences at scale with AI. I mean, today's day and age, I can't not start my presentation with AI, so that's what we're going to first talk about. I mean, I think for us, we started on this entire journey of AI long before it was a buzzword. 2016 is when we initially started off on our AI journey, and you can see the journey over a period of time. But essentially, if you look at it, for the first couple of years, we were very focused on how can we help you send communications and campaigns at the right time to the user and to the right audience. So you see a lot of things around predictive segments, affinity segments, delay optimization, which is all helping you sending the right message at the right time. And over a period of time, what we also launched is the ability to send these messages on the right channel. And last year, of course, obviously the industry evolved a lot in terms of generative AI, and that's where we launched our Merlin AI capabilities, which is our broader umbrella for all things Gen AI, and that's what we'll spend some time on. But if I were to quickly summarize, when I look at any marketer, the holy grail is obviously what you see on the left: right audience, right message, right channel, and at the right time. We have capabilities which go deeper in each of these verticals, and we also have some horizontal capabilities at the end of the day which cut across each of these verticals, right? I'm going to spend some time now on our Merlin capabilities, which the first part of Merlin AI that we launched is something what we call as a copywriter. Essentially, we help you do better campaigns based on the Gen AI outputs. And I'm going to quickly play a quick video now. lot in 60 seconds, so I'm going to unpack this for you one at a time. So we launched the entire copywriting piece about 6 to 9 months back now in private beta, and we already have 350 plus customers who are using the copywriting part of Merlin AI. We've done about 1,000 plus content variations. Our customers have done about 1,000 plus content variations using Merlin AI, and you can see some of the customers who've already leveraged this at scale. And I'm going to talk about one of our telco customers who's seen a massive impact in terms of the ability to drive better results using the copy generated from Merlin AI. So for me, it's not just about the performance uplift that can come from better copywriting, right? It's also about how can we save man-hours? How can we not spend so much time writing just push email and SMS copies, right? We can put that time to better use, understanding your customers better and doing better campaigns. And that's where you can see T-Mobile, which is one of the largest telcos globally, they've, at each country level, they've saved at least about 15 hours per month for every CRM resource that they have by moving from manual copywriting to assisted with Merlin AI at a high level. I'm glad to announce that we are taking Merlin AI Copywriter out of private beta today, and we'll be rolling this out to all our customers in the coming weeks. But we're also expanding the Merlin AI capabilities beyond the copywriter piece itself. What you saw was all things push. Now we are enhancing and taking this across email campaigns as well. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. We can help you write better prompts, because the better the prompt you write, the better the output. So we help you with better prompts in terms of what kind of keywords can help you get better engagement. You can optimize for what's your campaign goal. Like for instance, if it's an onboarding campaign targeting Gen Z users, what kind of messaging needs to go out? You can use that as a prompt. And you can also optimize for what kind of writing style would you like to have. Would you like to have some humor in the message? Would you like to keep it very serious? If you're a bank and we spoke a lot about trust, you don't want to be making a lot of jokes in your campaigns. So you can change the writing style of Merlin as well. So you can do all of this, and not just that, with the email campaigns, today a lot of email campaign performance is dependent on the subject lines, because more often than not, that's the only thing the end customers see. So based on the copy of the email body, you can ask Merlin AI to suggest some email subject lines as well, right? You can preview how those are going to look on the screens of the device, and essentially A/B test with that as well. The other variation that we've also seen our customers do is, let's say you already have a copy and now you want to help improve. That's the case study that you just saw. You could have a base copy, but you're now using Merlin AI to give that as a prompt and help improve the overall copy as well. We are soon going to be launching Merlin AI across all the inbound channels as well, which is in-apps, on-site messages, and cards. So essentially, irrespective of the channel, you'll have the power of Merlin AI to do better copies at a high level. And the next thing that we're going to take Merlin AI to is how can you help build better audience segments. So today, I mean, if you're a CRM person, if you're a marketer, you know how complex it is to build segments, right? Like people end up writing 10, 15 different essentially conditions, at times going up to 50 conditions. People who've browsed products, have not done a transaction in the last 30 days, are from the city of Bombay, LTV is greater than X. But this is very, it almost feels like you're feeding a bunch of rules to the system, right? Can we move to a natural language-based segments? Just how we think, right? Like, hey, today I want to go ahead and target users who've not made a purchase in the last 30 days and, have bought a flight ticket in the last 12 months. Just write that in your natural language and we'll build the rest of the segment for you. That's something we're truly excited about, and we feel will be a game changer when it comes to building audience segments using Merlin AI. We're going to be doing a lot more on Merlin AI, and we'll talk about that in the coming months. I want to quickly move to how we briefly spoke about how can we help you deliver personalized experiences on the website, on the apps, and wherever the users are. And that's the piece I want to spend some time on now. So I briefly mentioned how we launched Personalized to help you deliver better web experiences. So today, 75 plus brands are already using MoEngage Personalized to help drive better conversions on the web. And one of the challenges that we saw was that while we are doing all of this personalization on the web, I just spoke about how people use different tools for app personalization, web personalization. We don't want to be shying away from that. We want to help you do better personalization across all the different touch points. And that's where we're thinking about how can we help you personalize this irrespective of where the user is, web, app, TV platforms, wherever the user is. And more importantly, we also don't want to limit you in terms of just changing a banner or just changing the text of a specific homepage or just changing the banner based on traffic source and simple experiments like that. But we really want to push the envelope when it comes to experimentation capabilities, right? So let's say you want to understand which kind of navigation on the home screen works better. How can you change your menu layouts? Or you want to test how many steps in my checkout flow works better for conversion? How many fields in my lead sign-up form? 7 fields versus 9 fields, what's working better? Should I ask for a mobile number in step 1 or step 2? So any of these experiments that you want to do today are inhibited by the client-side approach that we had with all things personalized. So I'm glad to introduce to you server-side personalization today, which helps you take away all of these challenges and gives you a new way to run a lot more complex experiments at a high level. So let's think about a typical CRM persona at an e-commerce company, right? So John wants to make it easier to find what the customers are looking for. John also wants to make it easier to browse the different product categories based on different search filters and essentially at the end of the day improve conversions, right? You can do all of this with the server-side personalization today, right? And similarly, essentially if you want to personalize what kind of experiences in terms of navigation options you want to show on the website can be easily experimented with the server-side personalization capability. And if you want to run this experiment on a smaller set of audience and eventually roll out to the entire 100% of the audience, that makes it really easy with our server-side personalization capabilities, right? Let's think of a different sector now. We spoke about web, but we also want to personalize, let's say a user is coming on a TV platform, on your TV app, right? You want to show the same set of recommendations that are there on your website on the connected TV platform as well, right? So with the help of server-side personalization and our smart recommendations product, irrespective of where the user is, you're able to leverage these two product functionalities and give them the exact same experience across all the different touch points wherever the users are. So that just takes the game to the next level when it comes to delivering better CX. And last but not the least, with the help of server-side personalization, the performance impact is extremely minimal. You don't see any kind of flicker, you don't see any latencies at all, and it looks absolutely real-time in nature. Let's move to the second part that we spoke about, which is how can you activate your data effortlessly? When you speak to prospects, one of the biggest things that they always ask me is how intensive is bringing data to your platform? How can we make this process easier? How can we get started from day one? We don't want to wait for 6 months to just get started with my data. And that's where we've seen a proliferation of data warehouses and data storages at a high level. Today, we see a lot of warehouse adoption. A lot of you are using data storages already. MoEngage already lets you connect to any of the data storages that you have or data warehouses that you already have with a native connector. So you don't need to do any ETL jobs to be able to essentially bring data into MoEngage platform. But we were not happy with just that. You still had to bring data onto MoEngage platform. We also wanted to solve for security of data. I'm in Mumbai. We're surrounded by regulators. I cannot not talk about data security. We wanted to give you a way where all of your business confidential data can still reside on your warehouse, and we're still able to activate all of these segments that we just spoke about. And that's where I'm proud to introduce something called warehouse audiences today. This is the first in the industry that we're doing this. Essentially, what this lets you do is you're able to query on your own data warehouse without ever moving the data at all. So any segments that you want to build, you just write the segment queries on MoEngage platform. We can query on your warehouse, and the campaigns and the channels can be very easily activated. And that's what we also call zero copy architecture. Essentially, you're not copying any data at all, or you're not sending any data at all to MoEngage at a high level, right? What this helps you do, obviously, if you have an InfoSec team, you'll make them really happy because you can always say that all my transactional data is going to sit on my data warehouse, I'm only going to run queries on my warehouse. The second thing, you don't run into challenges like data retention periods, how long can you hold the data for. A lot of times you want to keep 5 years of viewing history, 5 years of transaction history on your warehouse and not necessarily send it to a platform like ours. No problems, keep it there and query on that data warehouse itself, right? This also helps you do a lot of dynamic audiences based on the real-time data and the warehouse data that you have. And last but not the least, just imagine how much more easier from an operational standpoint is it to execute all of this. So much faster time to value and a lot higher ROI of using a platform like ours. So that's briefly on how you can essentially take a similar use case from an e-commerce segment as well. But that's briefly what we wanted to speak about from a product launch standpoint today. Today we're rolling this out with Google BigQuery to start with, and we'll soon be taking this to other data warehouses like Redshift and Snowflake as well in the coming months. And with that, I'd like to conclude this session essentially by talking about how we're always thinking about customer data and contextual experiences as a virtuous loop. How can you better activate the data to deliver more delightful experiences? And to take this further, we're very excited to launch MoEngage for financial services as a vertical today. How can we package all of this and purpose built for financial services as a segment is something that we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. And to do that, I'd like to invite Ravi on the stage again. Ravi?
Yep. Thank you, Yash, for sharing through some of the key updates that we have been working on. At MoEngage, so we will be completing 10 years in July, by the way. So this is a special year for us at MoEngage, and where we are making significant strides across the board, across the way we do our community initiatives in terms, and also our product investments and so on. Glad to see kind of how the Growth Summit is coming up. For us at MoEngage, financial services is one of our largest verticals, or one of the top 2 verticals for us, and the fastest growing vertical for us. And we are excited to unveil something unique, something purpose-built, and something unified for this vertical. To start with, I'll talk about some of the challenges for financial services brands, whether it is banks, fintechs, insurance, securities, and all of these put together, taking this vertical. As we have spoken with Mr. Vaidyanathan, sir, in terms of like the actual end customer expectations are significantly increasing. They have a lot of choices. They want a very and they are used to very new age consumer mobile apps, right? I mean, a lot of like whether you're like your food delivery applications and the on-demand commerce applications, they're used to these sort of applications which basically require, which really increase the expectations of end consumers. They want things to happen in a seamless fashion in real time, and they want to have like a trusted experience with the financial services brands, and that's where she expects, like let's say if you take a customer like Mega, she expects her bank to be very agile. She expects her bank to completely personalize the experience when she opens her app. She needs to be able to kind of do things what she is planning to do in a quick fashion, without kind of like having to kind of speak to someone, without having to go to a branch. And so that's sort of expectations that she has. And when you look at kind of whether it is a product leader or a marketing people at financial services brands, to turn such sort of like Mega type customers into loyal customers, they need to really understand the customer preferences, the customer behavior, to be able to kind of guide the relevant behavior, right? To be able to kind of activate and onboard them seamlessly, to be able to kind of seamlessly kind of cross-sell products without really kind of impacting the customer experience. And also and when we talked about how service is very important in the first session, like you should even your service experience, whether it is your communicating to customers about service updates when they are facing a challenge, when they're making a UPI payment in real-time basis, keeping users informed in real time with relevant service updates, and while doing all of this, while keeping data security and compliance with regards to local laws, right? So this is a challenging overall kind of, you need to kind of be able to kind of improve the customer experience, grow your business while keeping these into consideration. But the problem is that all of these, lot of financial services brands are deployed some of the legacy solutions in the past. Like when you look at some of the banks and some of the large insurance companies, they deployed legacy MarTech stacks from, like, let's say an Unica or an Adobe or a Salesforce, and which were built in the early 2000s. They're not built for today's fast-growing mobile-first world, where these platforms have the inability to engage with customers in those micro moments, right? And the kind of channels of engagement are not anymore email. I mean, we talked about how, in the first session, about how you want to be able to kind of have in-app experience that is very personalized. It's just not anymore about push communications. Pull communications becomes very important. The inbound channels become very important. And the other aspect about, like, let's say if you look at MarTech stacks, many of these MarTech platforms are primarily built for promotional use cases or marketing use cases. Whereas service communications are completely kind of siloed in nature, where banks have to kind of integrate with various CPaaS providers separately, right? So all of these are various challenges that we have seen while working with 25 plus global banks as well as 100 plus financial institutions across various sub-verticals within financial services. And having seen all these challenges, we are coming up with something like industry-first, purpose-built solution. We call it as MoEngage for financial services, which is a unified platform, unified in the aspect of, like, our product offerings, where it brings in terms of the data and analytics capabilities, lifecycle marketing use cases, which includes like onboarding, activation, cross-sell use cases, service messaging, as well as even prospect. I think we talked about new to bank and existing bank sort of customer use cases. And you need a different sort of a solution for new customers versus existing customers in terms of financial services. So you need, so that's where our website and app personalization product comes into picture, where you're able to personalize the web and app experiences, and we'll talk about more of it. So it's a unified product offering covering all of these aspects in a single unified platform. And it is also unified in the nature of how it is built for different teams within a financial institution, whether you're in a product organization, whether you're in a marketing organization, whether you're in the conversion rate optimization or acquisition teams, you're able to kind of use that one single platform across all your teams. And it is purpose-built for financial services, and we'll talk about why it is purpose-built. I think, and this has happened over years of work that we have done over the last 5 to 6 years in terms of working with not just financial services in India, but also globally. I think these are like some of the 4 key aspects, which is data and analytics, lifecycle marketing, service messaging, website and app personalization. We have all these products from MoEngage built on a single stack, single unified SDK and single unified APIs. Let's talk, I think, to talk about how MoEngage for financial services is really unlocking. We would like to kind of play a quick video from Charu, who is the Chief Digital Officer of IndusInd Bank. Can we play the...
So MoEngage is a very critical part of our entire digital proposition stack. It's a part of the MarTech stack that we have built. And one of the major reasons why we chose MoEngage was we were not really able to understand the consumer behavior. When a customer is engaging with us on our platforms and applications, we were not really able to understand why is he dropping off, or what does he like, what does he not like, is the discoverability of various capabilities there. And MoEngage uncovers a lot of that for us. And along with that, it gives us the ability to then really tailor our communication for different client segments. And our endeavor is to drive hyper-personalization using MoEngage, which we were not able to do earlier. One of our first platforms which integrated MoEngage is Easy Credit, where we do end-to-end digital lending journey for any customer looking for a personal loan or a credit card digitally in an end-to-end digital process. Immediately after implementing the MoEngage stack, which allowed us to look at the complete journey from a customer lens, understand the points in the journey where a customer drops off, nudge the client with appropriate offers at the right time, we saw a jump of 20 to 25% on the conversion. Platform, the growth team and the marketing teams, that work on the platform, absolutely love the platform. The platform is very easy to use. It's our ability to execute campaigns from idea to concept to execution, which was taking anywhere from 10 days to 14 days, has come down to as low as 15 minutes on the lower side, which was just not possible earlier. So the teams absolutely love the platform. The customer support team that we have from MoEngage, what I like about them is that they don't say no. And even if it's a capability which is not there today, but is something that we want for building something that is part of our product vision, they're more than happy to come and join that product vision, and that's really great about the team.
Yeah, as Charu mentioned, we don't say no. I think to start with, I want to talk about each of these aspects in terms of data. Let's start with data and analytics, right? So one of the key aspects for financial services is kind of secure data ingestion and data management, and that's the biggest pillar which enables all of it, right? And that's where we did the most amount of work in our space. I think we are proud to share that we have the most secure SDK in the whole category. Which is completely which has gone through InfoSec approvals of some of the largest banks like Citibank, JP Morgan, and so on. And we built a lot of local data encryption, the best-in-class API protocols in terms of data security and so on. And I think Yash already talked about the capabilities that we are invested into the warehouse audiences and cloud data sync, where you're able to activate the data that is sitting in a warehouse in a seamless fashion. And even in terms of the secure data storage like your SFTP or S3 and so on, where you're able to sync data in a very encrypted fashion, right? So we have all these different capabilities which will enable you to ingest data in a secure fashion and manage them in a very secure way. So PII, personally identifiable information, is one of the most important pieces that everyone in the financial services care about. And that's one of the biggest challenges when it comes to InfoSec approvals, right? And that's where we came up with 3 different capabilities, like PII masking, PII encryption, and even PII tokenization, which I'll talk about. So with PII masking and PII encryption, you can ensure that the MarTech platform, in this case MoEngage, can ensure that the PII is not accessible to people who are using the product. And even the PII is encrypted in a fashion that we are not even storing PII on the cloud, thereby, which basically enables you to get that sort of comfort. And we also have the best-in-class access management aspects, like whether it comes to two-factor authentication, IP whitelisting, even SEIM protocols, which basically enable, which completely gives the comfort in terms of the data security as well, right? And one of the important things for financial services brands is the local data centers. So we have 6 data centers globally, and we have an India-based data center for the last 5 years, where almost all of our customers, not just financial services customers, are deployed on our India data center and with strict data security in place. And that's where, if you look at Citibank, which basically deployed MoEngage across Asia Pacific and European markets, they were using Salesforce for some of the email capabilities, Salesforce Marketing Cloud for some of the email capabilities. But all their mobile messaging, like push messaging alerts, all of them were built on an in-house platform. Because they were not getting the comfort to deploy any third-party SDK on their mobile app. I think, and MoEngage is probably the only third-party SDK which is deployed on the Citi's mobile app. And basically, we are able to unify both email as well as mobile messaging in a single platform. And then they were also able to use our service messaging as well, where they're able to reduce their the SMS costs for some of the alerts as well. And I think we talked about, in the video, Charu talked about the insights capabilities. I think that's really what MoEngage stands out. I think marketing and engagement has to be increasingly dependent on insights-driven and data-driven. And this is something that I believe that MoEngage has been advocating for the many years. And we have various capabilities within our product, which enable you to kind of understand where are customers dropping off in the customer lifecycle. How is your onboarding journey? For all financial services customers, you spend a lot of money to first get your users to install your mobile app. And if you want to kind of ensure that you have the highest conversion rate in terms of the onboarding or account creation, you need to kind of have the most deeper insights into the customer behavior to be able to kind of nudge them and complete that onboarding journey. So we have all the different capabilities which enable you to really improve your conversion rates, understand where are customers dropping off in even the cross-sell journeys and so on. I think we'll have, I think Bhavin from Zeta after, in about 10 minutes, will share like how they have leveraged, how they think about data-driven engagement. But Zeta uses MoEngage across various businesses that they work with, including the likes of PayZapp, Sparrow, and others, and where they have leveraged MoEngage analytics to really uncover a lot of customer insights, which enabled them to kind of improve the UPI adoption rates and various activation metrics that really kind of help them kind of really improve their engagement and activation. We talked about the lifecycle marketing, which is obviously the core. I think two things that we see the financial services kind of like stay behind is one is adoption of new age emerging channels, which could be like in-app messaging or in-app personalization, and also like messaging apps like WhatsApp and so on. I think that's where, I mean, a modern platform like MoEngage really helps you kind of really unlock, and also connected with the compliance aspects. If you look at financial services brands, they also might need to kind of store the message copies of every message that was sent to each individual customer from compliance purpose, because if you have an audit where you need to kind of, or if you have an end customer who basically has a question about, hey, I received this message, but I should not be receiving it. And you should be able to kind of easily pull up that message, what was actually sent to that individual customer, because a lot of intelligence and personalization goes into kind of sending that message. So you need to have a track of each of the messages, and MoEngage has the inbuilt capability called message archival, which basically kind of provides this sort of capability. And then we also have something called PII tokenized sending, where MoEngage can enable you to kind of send the messages, like whether it is email or SMS, without storing the PII data on the cloud. And that's where Trust Bank, which is one of the leading digital banks backed by Standard Chartered in Singapore, they onboarded MoEngage with one of the important capabilities being PII tokenized sending. The way PII tokenized sending works is that instead of storing the PII on the cloud, we store a token on the cloud in MoEngage. And then only when we are sending the message, we pull up the PII and then discard the PII. So it's a very unique technology that we built and which is kind of even patent pending. And that's one of the unique, like kind of purpose-built unique capabilities of our MoEngage for financial services offering as well. And then they have seen significant activation rates using MoEngage instead of a legacy MarTech platform. I think we talked briefly about service messaging, and Mr. Vaidyanathan sir also mentioned briefly about how service messaging is so important in the context of a financial services company. And that's where we have a purpose-built product. You can't just kind of have your MarTech product just do service messaging, because you need messages to be sent instantly within few seconds. I had multiple conversations with Bhavin in terms of how the messages need to be sent instantly when there are fraud alerts, for example. And also the other important piece is also about for you to have a unified view at an individual customer level in terms of marketing messages and service messages. Like, okay, what are the different messages that each individual customer received, irrespective of whether it's a marketing or a service message? That is where MoEngage plays that role of a unified approach. And we have a single unified API which enables you to, instead of you integrating with like a different vendor for SMS, different vendor for email, different vendor for WhatsApp, and push messaging, you have one single API of MoEngage which enables you to kind of be the orchestration layer on top of all the CPaaS providers, and thereby you're able to kind of significantly reduce your development efforts, but at the same time also reduce your SMS and email spends. So we have an intelligent capability called Smart Send, which basically kind of tries the most cost-effective channel first before it kind of falls back to kind of higher cost channels like email and SMS, right? And that's where one of our largest, I think we work with one of the large American banking customers. We can't quote their name, but they're one of the largest in North America. So they have legal communications which they need to ensure that those communications are tried on each of the communication channels, like whether it is email or SMS or push messaging. But at the same time, they want to kind of have the ability to kind of save costs. And that's where MoEngage Inform really kind of helped them kind of ensure that at least once delivery on any of the channels, at the same time saving costs as well. I think we talked about, how personalizing the new to bank or new to your brand sort of customers. Like if you look at financial services brands, like there are your existing customers and your new customers. And personalizing the experience for both is a different challenge. With the existing customers, you have a lot more data to personalize. With new customers, you only know probably like, okay, which source they have come from. What is the city that they have come from? And how much time are they spending on your website? I think that's where MoEngage Personalize comes into picture, where you're able to kind of improve your customer acquisition, improve conversion rates, and create a connected experience between like when you send an email to a customer, and then when they click on that email and they come to the website, you're able to create a connected experience with MoEngage Personalize. So for example, here, you're able to easily experiment, like when a user comes from a Facebook ad campaign to your website on your like, let's say, your interest rate calculator pages, you're able to kind of easily experiment different types of landing pages without involvement of IT. I think that is something that we are able to kind of really enable brands to kind of really rapidly experiment. And we have over a good number of financial services brands which have really kind of used the MoEngage Personalized product to improve the conversion rates, to upsell the right products or to cross-sell the right products, whether it could be the kind of credit cards or whether it could be the next best offers that you want to kind of show in the website experience or even the app experience. So with all of these products put together, we have the most, I think we are proud to share that we are the only customer engagement platform that is purpose-built for financial services with the full stack capabilities that you can see here across data ingestion, lifecycle marketing, service messaging, website personalization, app personalization, all of them put together in like one single unified stack. And we are delivering use cases across all the different verticals within financial services, whether it is banks and fintechs, trading, securities and crypto, insurance, aggregators, and so on. And we have various use cases from onboarding to activation to cross-sell to various use cases that we are able to offer. And we have some of the global as well as local brands which are leveraging MoEngage, over 200 plus kind of companies who are actually leveraging MoEngage to truly unlock, and we are glad to kind of unveil the MoEngage for financial services today, and we look forward to kind of seeing how brands can use us. Thank you.